Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first time. This video is just going to be me painting up the new Cities of Sigmar army box. When I saw these minis, couldn't resist, knew I was going to get them, and I went into this project with a new philosophy. I'm surely not alone whenever I start a new army of being like, this is going to be my creme de la creme, the best painting I've ever done, going to put all my effort in. And whenever I do that, I get about half a unit in and I'm burnt out. So with this Cities of Sigmar army, I decided to take it old school, back to that army painting sort of philosophy of a little bit of time on your troops, more time on your elite units, and put your effort in to your characters. So that's what I did. I wasn't really sure on a paint scheme at this stage, so I looked around and I saw War Hipster's Greywater Fastness video and absolutely loved it. So that's what I did. So for a detailed step-by-step approach to how I painted the infantry, watch his video. Much better than I can do. Started off with a Grey Seer primer straight out of the rattle can, and the yellow is it's a real vibrant yellow. It's a start with Skeleton Horde contrast, and then wash that with Cassandora yellow wash. I think I should have on the shields. I put a straight null oil wash on the diamond, and I probably should have diluted that. I was a bit too dark when I put the transfers on, and the icon of Greywater Fastness, the transfer is a really muted green, and it just got washed out, so I had to put it on back to front, so the white popped a bit more. It was quite late when I was putting the transfers on, and I was tired and I was done, so I just put them on back to front, and it doesn't look too bad because it's just the logo in white, so nothing really lost. So this project, this army box, I guess it took me about a week, bit of painting each night. I batch painted the 2 units of Steelhelms in one go, and 20 at once was probably a bridge too far. It was quite tedious towards the end. Even when I was just throwing paint on at a really basic tabletop level, it got boring, it got to me, but pushed through, and I think 2 nights, maybe 3, the 20 of them were done, which was a relief at that stage. The minis are amazing sculpts, and they probably deserve a fair bit more love than I gave them, but I want to finish this army. I want to get this army on the table, and I want to play games with a fully painted Cities of Sigmar army without any grey plastic on the table. If you make it through the entirety of the video, you'll notice different cameras and stuff have been used just by the quality. I'm trying to find a setup. I'm very ignorant with cameras and all that stuff, so it's definitely learning as I go. So with these Steelhelms, like I said, look at War Hipster's video for the painting recipe. Much clearer than I can film, more eloquently explain step by step. But I didn't go for the fiddly bits. I just put on broad highlights, just bold, broad strokes, just to get them done and get them on the table. When they're on the table and you're standing that metre or so back, you can't tell that they haven't got coloured eyes. They're just a painted army, and the contrast between that vibrant rich yellow and the blue black works really, really well. I think the only difference in my recipe to War Hipsters was I shaded the leather with blood shade, just to bring out that red richness more. I based the army with just an AK Interactive acrylic texture paint, and this is how the Steelhelms turned out. Tabletop standard, I think they're great. Nothing fancy, like I said, not what I was going for. Just painted, details picked out, and from that 3 foot away, no complaints from me. And from the Steelhelms, it was on to these Cavaliers, and I didn't know anything about this unit, so I had a good look, and geez, there is some detail. Not knowing anything about the Cavalier unit or much of the Cities of Sigmar lore, I dove into this tome of power and did a little bit of reading on the lore of the Cavaliers, and looked through the book for some ideas on how to paint them. And yeah, these guys took a fair bit longer than the Steelhelms. I think these were maybe 4 or 5 nights of plugging away bit by bit. Outside of their general shape, there's not much uniformity in the unit. They're all so uniquely detailed, and it was a lot of back and forth, painting a new area found. I tried to work from the inside out and start from like the skin of the horse, and then the saddle blankets and so on. The yellow and black material on these guys is painted just like the Steelhelms, with a base coat of Skeleton Horde, washed with Cassandora yellow for the yellow, and the black is Baden black highlighted with rust grey. The colours of Greywater being that black and yellow, I wanted a really dark metal steel and a bright yellow for the trim, and I went with the classic of Lead Belcher washed with Nuln Oil, and then for the gold trim, Retributor Armour washed with Reichland Flesh Shade, and that really helped give that pop, that black and yellow contrast. In the deeper recesses and for more definition, I use Gorgrunt of Fur for some really deep recess shades on the gold, and then highlighted both the gold and the steel with a just a bright silver.
Stretched in a sure sign of irritation. Before fold.
If anyone watching this has any experience with cameras and setting cameras up to stay in focus, if you could point me in a good general direction for some easy to understand info, that would be greatly appreciated, because it's a struggle for me. By this stage, it was the last night of painting these guys, and it was just back and forth, picking out little bits of detail that was different from mini to mini. This guy was a lot of fun to paint. There's going to be so many Cities of Sigmar faces pop up in kit bashes, because the heads are just so cool. This is the standard that's painted the same way. Not too much effort went into this, so it was pretty late. I was pretty tired, but this is how they turned out. But yeah, I was happy with them. I'm happy with how the whole army turned out. You can see the difference in the decals. How these guys, it's a bit green, and on the Steelhelms it's quite stark white. I should have read the army book about this guy. I didn't realise this is, for all intents and purposes, a token. It's not a character. I had no idea. I probably wouldn't have put as much effort into this guy as I did. But this is the start of the characters. I didn't use Cassandora yellow. I used a yellow contrast paint instead, just for a bit more richness, and I highlighted first with, is it Samazi Desert, something like that, just for a bit more volume in the yellow, and I shaded it with watered down Skag Brown, and this is just a pretty simple freehand. I do a little bit of freehand on the Marshal, nothing too crazy, because I am not capable of crazy freehand, but I thought it added just a little bit more pizzazz. So how do you approach your army painting? Leave a comment below. Do you do what I usually do and burn out trying to do the best you can on every project? Or are you just a 3 colours and done sort of painter? So from the second I put these minis together, this free guild marshal was what I was looking for to painting. And before I started to paint, like I said at the start of the video, I had no idea what colour I was going to paint them. And a friend at my gaming store suggested tartan, and as soon as he said it, I wanted to use it, but I couldn't find the right spot. And then with this marshal, he's got like the corner of the cloak thrown over his shoulder, and it just presented that small area where I could give tartan a whirl. And so that's what I did. Black, yellow and grey tartan. I was really happy with how it turned out. It's my first tartan attempt. So everything on this guy is painted the same way as everything before him, just with more time and more care. Maybe a few extra layers of highlights here and there, but nothing too excessive. Just some simple freehand around the mini was a bit of a challenge for me. I'm trying to improve my freehand ability, and it is coming along very slowly. It blows my mind when I look at other painters on Instagram and they've got these amazing landscapes or portraits painted. I've been painting for a long time and I just don't understand how talented some people are. So my recipe for dark skin tone is a base of dryad bark washed with Trucci violet, and then ever progressive warmer and warmer browns to bring it up to where you want. So I realised I washed this lead belcher with a mix of Drakenhof Nightshade and Nuln Oil in equal parts. Here I'm just sketching out a quick checkerboard for half the shield. I washed the handle of the hammer in a contrast red, and then I had to bring that back down. It was just too bright with a wash of Agrax. And here's how he finished. And what city are you painting your army colours in? Or are you just gonna make your own? What do you plan to do? And lastly, I was left with this guy, the Warforger. I don't even know is this guy a priest or a mage? I haven't read his rules yet, but the amount of texture on this model was really fun to paint. It was a really different approach from Games Workshop, or at least the miniatures from Games Workshop that I've painted, and it was fun to play with that beaten leather of his coat and the worn iron on the pot that he carries. So I didn't have a really clean painting style with this guy. I use a lot of stippling, a lot of small strokes to accentuate the texture that is present on the mini. This pot was a lot of fun to paint. I thought a long time of how to approach it, and just the constant stippling and painting those runes. I was going to paint the runes on his apron, but I thought it might have been a bit too much. What do you think? Are you going to paint yours, or did you paint yours? I don't know. I might go back and do it, but at this stage, I like just the ones on the pot. So if you have watched this far, thanks a lot for watching. It means a lot to me. I'm really enjoying the process of making videos. I just want to get better at it. So leave a comment below. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, what you think I could improve on. I'll take it all on board. I know there's a lot I can improve on. So thanks for watching.